Welcome back. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, and leave a like. Enjoy the video. When a police officer points her gun at an off-duty Army veteran, the crowd's reaction alters everything. The soft hum of conversation and the rhythmic beeping of checkout scanners filled the air inside a busy supermarket in Sacramento, California. It was a typical Tuesday evening, and customers moved leisurely through the aisles, gathering everything from fresh produce to frozen dinners. Among them was Nathaniel Davis, a 48-year-old retired senior Army officer now working in logistics, off-duty, and dressed in a simple navy sweatshirt and jeans. Nathaniel appeared as ordinary as anyone else in the store that night. He pushed a small cart through the dairy section, searching for a carton of almond milk. The uniform he wore earlier in the day was now neatly folded at home. As he reached for the milk, he felt something unusual. A pair of eyes lingering on him. Turning his head slightly, he caught a glimpse of a white police officer standing at the edge of the aisle. Her crisp uniform stood out against the casual crowd. She wasn't shopping, she was observing. Nathaniel didn't think much of it initially. Years in the military had taught him not to jump to conclusions. He offered a polite nod in her direction, but her expression remained tense, her gaze unwavering. Something about the intensity in her eyes conveyed an unspoken message. This wasn't casual curiosity. He continued shopping, making his way toward the canned goods aisle. But the feeling didn't dissipate. Each time he glanced over his shoulder, there she was, standing just a little too close, her hand resting near her holstered weapon. The unease was escalating, but he pushed it aside. She's probably just being vigilant, he thought. But as he turned into the frozen food section, the weight of her gaze remained. It was evident now this wasn't just his imagination, she was tailing him. Nathaniel adjusted his grip on the cart, determined to ignore the mounting tension. But little did he know this silent dance of suspicion was only the beginning. Nathaniel paused near the produce section, carefully selecting a bundle of spinach. He enjoyed cooking simple, healthy meals, a habit from his military days. As he turned to place the spinach in his cart, the officer's voice rang out behind him, sharp and authoritative. "Excuse me, sir. I need to speak with you." Nathaniel turned to face her, keeping his expression calm. Years of leading troops under pressure had trained him to remain composed in tense situations. "Is there an issue, officer?" he asked, his tone even. She stepped closer, her eyes narrowing as she scanned him from head to toe. "We've received reports of suspicious activity in this area. I need to know what you're doing here." Nathaniel blinked, momentarily taken aback by the accusation. "I'm grocery shopping just like everyone else," he replied, gesturing to his half-full cart. Her eyes flicked to the cart, then back to him. "I need to see some identification." "Identification for buying spinach and almond milk? Now?" Nathaniel let out a soft, incredulous laugh, shaking his head. "With all due respect, officer, I haven't done anything wrong. Is there a specific reason you're requesting my ID?" Her jaw tightened as she placed a hand on her holster, a silent but clear escalation. "Sir, I'm not going to ask again. Show me your ID." The tension in the air thickened, and Nathaniel could feel the stares of other shoppers. He took a deep breath, carefully choosing his words. "Look, I don't know what you think I've done, but I'm not obligated to show ID just because I'm walking through a store. If there's a specific accusation, let's address it. Otherwise, I'd like to finish my shopping." The officer frowned, her tone becoming more aggressive. "I saw you behaving suspiciously, walking up and down the aisles as if you're casing the place. Don't make this harder than it needs to be." Nathaniel was no stranger to unfounded accusations. He'd faced them before, even in uniform. But this was different. This wasn't a battlefield or a military base. This was a supermarket, a place where he should have blended in as just another customer. Yet here he was, singled out and cornered. Before he could respond, the officer's voice grew louder, garnering the attention of more shoppers. If you're refusing to cooperate, I'll have no choice but to take further action." Nathaniel's heart began to race, not out of fear for himself, but for how quickly the situation was escalating. He raised his hand slightly, a gesture of caution. "I'm cooperating, officer. I'm just asking for a little respect." But respect wasn't in the mix tonight, and the officer's next move would shatter the fragile calm of the store. The officer's voice cut through the murmurs of the supermarket, louder now, commanding attention. Hands where I can see them now! Her hand gripped the handle of her gun, and the atmosphere shifted in an instant. The calm routine of shopping gave way to stunned silence as customers froze in place, their gazes darting between Nathaniel and the officer. Nathaniel felt his pulse quicken. He'd trained for moments of high tension, but this wasn't a battlefield. This was a supermarket aisle, with innocent people looking on, including children clutching their parents' hands. Keeping his hands raised, he spoke with measured calm. "Officer, there's no need for this. I've done nothing wrong." But her eyes burned with suspicion, her voice unwavering. "Get down on the ground now." Nathaniel hesitated. Lying on the dirty supermarket floor felt like a step too far, humiliation too great. But the growing crowd around him, their phones now raised and recording, made the stakes clear. Any wrong move could turn disastrous. He crouched, slowly lowering himself to his knees. "Stay down," she barked, her gun now fully drawn and aimed at him. Gasps rippled through the crowd. A mother shielded her child's eyes, and an older man muttered angrily, "What is she doing? He hasn't done anything." Now. Nathaniel looked up from his position on the floor, his voice steady but firm. "Officer, I am a retired senior Army officer. I have served this country for over 20 years. Whatever this is, it's not right." Her lips tightened, a flicker of uncertainty crossing her face, but she quickly doubled down. "Don't move. You don't get to decide what's right or wrong here." Here on Karma's Twists, we share the most impactful stories of karma and justice that the world needs to see. Don't miss a single moment of good triumphing over evil. Join our community and subscribe. Be part of the movement that believes justice always wins.